this live event with me, Robert Stroud, and the wonderful Stephen Harris. How are you
Yeah,
doing tonight, Steve?
not bad. How you doing, Robert?
Yeah, not so bad. Good, thanks. Well, glad that so many people are going to be joining us tonight. And without further ado, I shall jump straight into why we've all come here. So I will be sharing my screen to show you a PowerPoint, which is this. Is that coming through okay, Steve?
I can see it loud and clear.
Great. So as you all know, we're here to see how you can get recognized as a textbook smart designer. This is about 30 minutes long. There will be a recording you can see afterwards. And also I'll be putting the PowerPoint online for everybody. If you have any questions during this live event, please throw them in the chat. We'll do our very best to answer those. And if you want to follow up at all, feel free to contact Steve or I on SNS or by email. So let's jump straight in. As an outline of what we'll be talking about, Steve will first of all tell you a bit more about what a smart designer is. You're all probably wondering a bit about what that actually means. So Steve will take you through that and the benefits. Why should you do it? We'll be looking for 10 new smart designers in Japan from April 2023. And Steve will tell you what that will mean if you are lucky enough to be one of those 10 people. I will then walk you through what the smart communication textbooks are about, which are the thing that the smart designers help guide or pioneer, if you like, in their own classrooms. And then exactly how you can get involved. You're probably wondering, okay, how can I do this? So we'll give you all that information as well. And as I said, at any point, if you have a question, just throw it in the chat and we will do our best to answer. So I'm going to hand you over to the wonderful Stephen Harris. Go ahead, Steve. It's all yours.
Oh, hello, Dr. Renee Sunday. I see you there. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello to you
Our
too.
first person with a comment. Thank you very much. Remember to throw your comments in whenever you like.
Sure. Yeah. Anything you want to put in there, just go for it. All right. My name is Steve Harris. Let me just talk to you about what is a smart designer. So in order to understand what a smart designer is, we need to understand what's the mandate of these textbooks. These are textbooks, they're designed by teachers and they're designed specifically for teachers in a very specific context, this sort of higher education. So that's why we're cultivating this smart designers community. We're trying to leverage the wisdom and the experience of these teachers to design the absolute best textbook we can for this context. So a smart designer is a motivated higher education English teacher anywhere in the world. As Robert said earlier, we are focusing right now on Japan for April, but it can be anywhere in the world. And it's a teacher who has this mentality. They try an activity and they kind of go, this could be better somehow. And then they just try to iterate. So they attempt, critique, retry. So this iterative DNA to their teaching. And so we want that type of teacher to help us pioneer using the smart communication books in their classroom. So maybe it's for one semester, maybe it's two or a term, if that might be how your university calls it. And essentially, you're like a philosopher of some sort, and you analyze the weak points in the textbook. You analyze the strong points, and then it goes into a weekly online feedback form over the duration of the semester or the term. And how do you do it? Google Forms there. How long does it take? About 10 minutes. I do mine in class. And yeah, I mean, why not? And we don't need lots of details. We just need the targeted criticism. Or I'll get into it later, but we just need the targeted information. We're not looking for big treatises and theses and stuff like that. So let's just make this clear by looking at a real example here. And ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you Arthur Ford. And Arthur Ford is one of our smart designers. He's teaching at several universities in Tokyo. And Arthur is very good at critiquing from different perspectives.
Yeah.
For example, he might address some things from a cultural perspective. He might address it from like a student psychological perspective. And of course, pedagogical perspectives. He's very good at that. And so what he does is he's got smart communication too he's using, and he teaches his class. And during or after or whenever, he puts his observations into a Google form. So let's take a look at this Google form here. Now you're going to see some green circles come up here. This is where he puts in what's working in this class, and 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 also just as important, why it's working. And then you're going to see some blue circles here, and this is what he thinks needs improvement, and just as important, why. And he may even illustrate it with an example or two. So not everything has to be filled out, but those are the directions that we're looking. So he hits send, he's finished, and these comments come into our mainframe supercomputer, and we then provide a feedback on his feedback. So here it is. And just take a look at the top line there. It says Smart Designer Feedback. Okay. SC2, so that's Smart Communication 2, Class 3/4. So let's look at this circle now. On the left side there, it says good points. So these are the good points that he thought were in the book. And so we'll list those there. And then if you look to the right, it says a summary of suggested improvements. So these are the improvements that he suggested with his reasons. And then on the farthest right section is the editor comments. And that's where we basically respond to what he said. And it could be generally, three possibility. One is fantastic idea. We'll implement it in the next edition as is, or it might be fantastic idea. We're going to have to figure out how to use that, as is. We're going to have can't be done as is. We're going to have to tweak it or something like that. But we'll get there somehow. Or number three is thank you very much, but we can't implement that for such and such a reason. So that just helps everyone kind of be on the same page with what's going on. So that is the smart designer's task. It's not a lot of extra work, but it is we believe, a good process, this iterative process. And we know that that's helping us create really the best teaching tool that we can create for this higher education context.
If I can jump in, Steve, I mean, these things, when you're teaching, these are things that are on your mind all the time when you're using textbooks or materials. You have ideas. Oh, that would be better if we did this. And this is just an opportunity to put it down somewhere and actually make a difference with it in a
No kidding,
very textbook.
No
So
kidding.
yeah.
Where you're going like, oh man, why did they do that? You can tell us
Yeah.
what you think, and we can figure out if there's a better way to do it. So that's your wisdom, your experience. That's what we want. So now we want to get into the benefits for you. Like, how do we say thank you to you for sharing your time and your wisdom with us? So first thing is we'd like to give you an official certificate of participation. So it's going to be real paper with real signatures, and it's an official qualification, and it says that you are a designer of teaching materials. And then
it's not too shabby at a job interview or on your resume, by the way, to have stuff like that.
Sure. Post it on LinkedIn or wherever it is. It's just one more thing on your resume. Second thing is that we'll put your profile on our website. So we'll put your picture, we'll put a write-up, and it'll be on quite a nicely designed page. And it's a great thing to include as a link in your resume. I think it would show employers that there's a certain degree of ambition that you're willing to do. I think they would appreciate that.
Mm.
And then the next thing is we would like to publish your name inside the next edition of the Smart Communication textbook as a smart designer. And again, you go to a job interview, you open up the book and you go, that's my name in a published textbook. I think that says something.
Mm-hmm.
And really the most important thing is number 4, and that's chocolate. We will send you a Toblerone chocolate bar, and I know that that's not the actual shape of the Toblerone. We don't have a royalty free picture we can use, but I think it evokes the chocolatey sensation there. So we'll send you that upon completion if you're willing to give us your mailing address.
I'll jump in here. Steve is a man of his word as well. Steve has been in charge of these Toblerones, and I don't quite know how many you've got, but he has been delivering them.
I got a spare case here. Didn't want to run short. So yeah, if you want to join a positive, supportive community of professional language teachers who are really just trying to create the best possible language book that we can for this higher education context, then this is how we would like to say thank you to you. So I'm going to send this over now to Robert. Thank you, Robert, for letting me speak for a few moments. And Robert's going to talk to us about some of the details of the textbook and also some of the context that this textbook can be used in. So take it away.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I hope everyone can clearly see what a good thing it is to become a smart designer, but I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, well, okay, what are these textbooks? How can I use them? Can I use them? So I'm just going to give you a bit more insight into exactly what they are, and you may be surprised how many different kinds of teaching they can be applied to. So there are 3 textbooks within the series. There's a stage 1, 2, and 3. Stage 1 is probably the simplest. It's focused on preferences within interactions. Stage 2 is focused on opinions within interactions, so kind of a bit of a step up in terms of thinking for students. And stage 3 is critical thinking within interactions. So pushes them a little bit further, not just to give their opinions or preferences, but to actually kind of analyze situations and think about maybe how to improve them and things like that, right? Books 1 and 2 match very well for a year's course. I use those for spring and the fall semester in Japan, and books 2 and 3 as well. Some of our teachers teach those for, as a pair across 2 semesters, and they match a wide range of students. And I'll take you through a bit more of the details about the design now. So you can use them for presentations, writing, things like essays and paragraphs, and also general communication courses. So they have a huge variety of course types that they can be used for, which is the good news for anyone who's thinking, would these work for me? The likelihood is yes, they will. The one type of courses we don't think they would work for are reading courses. So we don't have that kind of heavy content of reading passages within them. So any other courses that you see there or any kind of focuses, they can definitely be applied to. They generally suit 12 to 15 classes per textbook, which are about an hour or 2 per class. So if you're teaching in Japan, that's perfectly what semesters are in higher education. They fit very well for 1 semester, 1 textbook. Very easy just to pop it into any kind of courses you may have. And as I said, a wide range of speaking levels. I mean, even the 3rd book you see there says lower intermediate to advanced, but actually probably even lower than that. I think, Steve, you taught with some lower level students with it, haven't you? And it seemed to work okay, right?
They were able to get through it. Yeah.
Good. So the other thing as well is class size can be anything from a smaller class to a much larger class. Typically in Japanese universities, you may be talking about 25 to 30 students, I'm guessing. That's no problem at all. And probably even larger because of the design of the books. There's a lot of autonomy, I'll show you in a minute, of the students taking care of their own learning and being really engaged, so they don't just wait around for the teacher the whole time. And also they're very easy to switch to online teaching with, and maybe even hybrid teaching, because all the activity work within them is pairs. So if you need to go onto Zoom and do breakout rooms, they work fantastically well. And so you're probably wanting a bit more information. Okay, you said presentation courses, writing courses. It seems like they do a lot of things. I could break down the entire structure of the books, but clearly a much easier way for you to see what I'm talking about is if you just go onto the YouTube channel for Smart Class Series. If you just search Smart Class Series, it pops up straight away. And they're about 1 or 2 minutes long each, not very long, and they give you a good breakdown of exactly how the books work for different types of courses. So we advise you to take a look at those videos, or just ask us more questions if you like, to find out more exactly how they could work for you. So the features of the textbooks. These are the things that we really want feedback on. As a smart designer, you can give feedback on anything you like, but these are the things that smart designers seem to lock in on a lot, because these are the real significant pedagogical designs to the textbooks. The first one is the smart design itself, not to be confused with SMART goals. That is a different thing. This acronym is not focused on specific instances of a goal. For example, here's a goal, off you go, try it, which is good. It's definitely motivating, but these are designed with a lot more depth and longitudinal thinking to them, in terms of formative assessment, continual feedback on performance for students as well, with the measurement throughout the learning. But obviously, they work very well, but we want more feedback. We want to make them even better. So that's the first thing. The next thing is self-assessment tools. We are big believers in having students reflect and on their own abilities, have noticing and testing of what's going on and what they can and can't do, and strive towards improving. I'll be presenting on this at the JOUT National Conference in Fukuoka in Japan this weekend. If you are in Japan, hope to see you there. That will be my topic there. And yeah, we want more feedback. They work fantastically well for the students. They find them very engaging and helpful to focus on improving their individual levels. But of course, we want more feedback. That's why smart designers exist for us. And the traffic light trainer, this is something I've talked about a lot before. This is the kind of heart of the textbooks. This has got decades of important research embedded into it, to things like task planning, task repetition, scaffolding of learning, to help students get more confident and fluent within their oral interaction, especially during class time. We use an animation series called Dwayne's World to help students understand more about how the target language would actually look in the real world. And it's an important connection for students, right, when they're studying, to see how that language is used away from the class. But of course, we want smart designers to help us improve that even further. And anyone out there who's focused on assessment, things like that, rubrics within language learning, we have some scoring rubrics that work very well, align very well with the learning that goes on in the textbooks. But of course, we want more feedback on ways to make those even clearer, fairer, more powerful, more engaging for students and teachers as well. So that's another thing. And the final big thing is the online games. We have games called Connect games, which are quite unique. For those of you out there who think, fans of Quizlet, Kahoot, things like that, it's not exactly the same. It's not used as much within the textbook. These are a unique game aligned with the language that's in the textbooks. We believe in a place and a time for that kind of pedagogical learning or teaching. So they have a place within lessons, but they have a very powerful effect on how students become engaged. And we want more smart designer feedback to make them even better. So you can check out all those features. I'll send out this PDF later, and you can click on all the links and have a look at that and see if those are things you want to get involved in giving feedback on. But as I said, anything is fine. So how can you get involved? Well, basically, it's just an email. There's an email address for Smart Class Series there, support@smartclassseries.com. All you need to do, if you are interested in one of the 10 spots within Japan starting April next year, 2023, the deadline is December 14th, so a few weeks away from now. All you need to do is send your name, teaching experience, where you're teaching right now, and basically your context, really, just to introduce yourself. What kind of teacher are you? Where are you teaching? What have you been doing? And also what classes you're thinking about using the textbooks with, and why you want to be a smart designer. This isn't just, we're not just trying to throw out as many invites and get as many smart designers as possible. This isn't just about selling books or anything like that. This is trying to build a community of teachers who have the shared vision of Steve and I and Smart Class series of improving books for, with the teachers, for students, and everybody wins. We don't see why that can't be done. We've been doing it with other smart designers, and everyone is happy. So that's it. The teaching period, you can teach for 1 semester as a smart designer, or you can extend it to a 2nd semester, which makes sense if you want to just, for example, do the spring and then the fall with another book.
Robert, can I add one thing to that?
Sure, jump in, Steve.
Just for all of our colleagues who are not in Japan right now, we are trying to focus on Japan in April just because the semester is kind of geared that way. But this will also be opening up next year, next September. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Robert. But just for the people who are not in Japan, if you're interested, please keep it on the radar, and we might be able to integrate you a little bit later.
That's right. That's right. Okay, I mean, that's kind of everything we've got to share with you at the minute.
A couple of things came in here, Robert.
Yeah, I think we could go to the questions.
Amanda, thank you very much for your comment. And then you said, can we get the link, please? And is that for the 3 videos?
Yeah, Sam has added a link here. Hi, Sam. Thanks for joining us. I think that's possibly the link that she's talking about. If we're not exactly clear, Amanda, which link you mean, but yeah, if you just send me a message or something, I can send all that information through. The best way to get all the information is just to go to the Smart Class Series website, YouTube channel. There's a Facebook page and a LinkedIn page, and you can pretty much find everything you need through those. If you can't find it, just send Steve or I a message, and we're more than happy to help, of course.
If I am I able to put here's at least our not sure if that's coming up, but our smartclassseries.com website.
Amanda says she got the link, by the way, as well. Thanks, Amanda.
Okay.
Steve's put another link. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, Steve's put a link in the chat there as well somewhere. I think that's great.
And I think Sam put the YouTube link in there, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's great. That's great. Thanks for that, Sam. That's great. That's good. There's not so many questions coming in. I guess if you do have any questions, just we've got another 5 minutes to go or so. Steve, are gonna hang around.
Yeah, go ahead. Just anything that's on your mind. Just put it out there. Don't feel shy or embarrassed about anything. We're just here to
sure
information.
We could just talk a little bit more about our philosophy of what we're doing, I guess, Steve. Which from my side, I've already said this, but I'd like to repeat myself on this point. Is that I think it's very important to remember that this is something that should be done a lot more. As teachers in classrooms using textbooks with your students, you are the front of what's going on. We think it's a great shame that teachers have such fantastic ideas about the materials they're using. And if we're talking about Japan right now for this live event, the number of times I've been in front of a class with a book or something even I've made myself and I've looked at and gone, that would have been a lot better like this. The fact that you share it, and it's in a series of textbooks, the impact you can have on the learning that can go on with that series for potentially thousands of students, it should be very empowering. And I think it's something that's very, very good for teachers, good for students, and our community is growing, and we're just having a good time doing it. Steve, anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's almost sort of like like the tip of the spear or boots on the ground sort of thing, like Robert, I've taught with some textbooks, and it's just like, what's going on? Like, I don't even know how to I don't even know how to run the activity, and so we're trying, it's a way for the people who actually use it to give us the feedback we need to make, for this higher education context, to make the absolute best material that we can possibly make. And I think we've come quite a ways in that, but I think there's still room for improvement. So
Yeah, we just got a question
couple of
came
things.
in. Will another video presentation like this run next year for teachers outside Japan? Yeah, absolutely. We don't see any limit to how far our groups of smart designers can go. At the moment, Steve and I are very focused on our Japanese team because this is a new thing that we're working on very hard. And we are actually doing ourselves as well. That's the best way to learn and improve anything. We're a part of it. And yeah, well, we don't see why it couldn't, because the books are actually for sale in multiple countries now. So next year, there'll definitely be more opportunities for people in other countries. So watch this space. I'll see if there's any other things come up. One comment here.
Is this
going to proceed further online? If you mean this live event, Sania, yeah, we're here for about another couple of minutes. So if you want to contact us after this, please do. If you want to ask us anything further about what we're doing.
We got not a name, a LinkedIn user.
This one is it. Would teachers with Japanese language skills be an attractive quality? Are we designing English teaching materials for the students there? Would teachers with Japanese language skills be attractive? If the question means would that be necessary for you to have Japanese language skills to be a smart designer, I don't think that's necessary. The books are completely English inside. Anyone who's teaching English classes within Japan is qualified to do so, can be a smart designer, if that answers the question. If not, please add more details or contact us to follow that up.
Sure, whether English is your native language or not your native language.
Yeah, it could be anyone teaching English classes, I think, is qualified to know what an English class should be. So
and Amanda is in Sydney. Well, hello to Amanda in Sydney. There you go.
Another comment from you as well is, I tried to use iBooks with widgets and it had a great impact. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Interesting combination there. I mean, any kind of ideas like that, if people are using our textbooks and finding that they have some kind of combination of ideas that improve the learning, that's great to hear.
And just on a side note, we've got sort of things in the pipeline. I don't know, just guessing, but maybe sort of a 5 to 10 year sort of range. That sort of comment, from the iBook and the widgets, like we're just totally game on exploring as the technology becomes more accessible and simple to use. We're totally game on exploring that whole end of things. So
I generally think the role of smart designer couldn't have come at a more exciting time, actually, Steve, because after, unfortunately the pandemic hit the world, but, we kind of had to reboot what we were doing, and, the goalpost moved on everything. So creativity, excitement in ideas that you have that you see as the future of teaching for students.
And technology, like the people who would have never gone into the like a Zoom online, like people, we just never have done that, but now we're all sort of becoming kind of fluent in that whole thing. So we'll try.
I think we've all learned a lot for sure over the last 2.5 years. I know I have. Things I never thought I'd be doing to teach classes, with technology and things. So I just think that creative thinking, we need to keep going to go back into the classroom. So yeah.
Do we have any more questions? Does anybody
we don't right now. As I said, though, I will be sending out this PowerPoint online. So please take a look at that. We just got one question coming in. Very good. Can the books work with speech and debate training? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're perfect for those. The 3 types of teaching they can definitely be used for are writing courses, communication courses, and presentation courses. And by communication courses, we mean debates, discussions. So they work perfectly for those types of courses. Thanks for that question, Jeff.
We got one from Yuki
More
here.
as well. Yeah. Have you got a plan to make those textbooks interactive, like publishing in apps or web? Watch this space. We're not sure yet. At the moment, we're working very much on the pedagogy of textbook designs for classroom-based learning. But down the lines, we don't know. And if you think of being a smart designer, you may come up with ideas like that to help us move things forwards for students. Please think about doing that. Yeah,
we're completely open to the.
Absolutely. There's one more here as well. If we became a part of Smart Designers, what is the way of communicating with each other? Because many people are here from different countries. So we're doing it as teams. This live event right now, Sanya, is actually for those in Japan for an April start next year in the Smart Designer team, which is 10 spaces for that. But we do plan to have Smart Designer teams in other countries. And they would talk within their countries because they're context dependent, those students of that country, to communicate and share their ideas online. Please watch this video again. Steve's part near the beginning, he explained a lot about the feedback and how that's done.
And just to expand on that, we're trying to we don't want to sink people with taking their time too much. So we've been working with our designers over this last semester, just trying to figure out like what's the pattern here where the designers are getting the feedback, they're getting the contact, and but we're not putting too much on them. And I think we're coming up with a good process. So
that's right. That's great. I think we're kind of up for time here. If you didn't get a chance to chat with Steve and I in the chat here or ask any questions, feel free to just contact us anytime. Please take a look at all the Smart Class Series website and SNS sites. And I'd just like to say thank you all very much for taking time.
I would very much like to second that. Just thank you for coming, and yeah, just consider it, and we're here to answer your questions.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Steve. Have a great night too.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Oh, and Amanda, thank you. Awesome.
Yep. Thank you. See you soon, everyone. Okay. Bye now.